Good evening, everyone, and happy Wednesday. To me, it's still Victory Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I don't know about you guys, but I am still on a high from that first week one Dolphins win. How are you still feeling about that? You still like,
Yeah, so pumped up. It's fun. A little rainy weather out here today in South Florida. But besides
oh
that,
my goodness, it's pouring outside right now. Usually for the shows, I like to dress up, look nice, even put a little perfume on for you guys. I'm literally in sweatpants right now, so it's just the weather's gloomy, bad storms all day. But on Sunday we had beautiful weather, minus the heat index being what, like 120.
it was so hot that apparently some cars got caught on fire in the parking lot.
So let's just talk about that right away, because I'm sure I know a lot of our friends from Philadelphia. They reached out to me before I even knew what was happening. So I'm sure you guys have heard that at the tailgate, East 12, well, not East 12, the yellow lot, which is on the east side of East 12, where we tailgate, um, right, like when we went inside for the game, apparently someone left their grill going. And granted, like, after the tailgate, you shut your grill off, but you kind of let it like cool down.
Right.
But something happened where this grill actually set 12 cars on fire. So the game was going on and no one knew what was happening outside, because obviously, we're in the stadium. It was an exciting game. And then when we come out, there's like fire trucks. And we were actually parked in that lot. We were 10 rows from that.
Yeah.
So we're like getting text messages, and like our friends were like, "Hey, like, is your car okay?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about? Is our car okay?" And then they sent me the picture, and I was like, "Holy smokes!" So can you imagine, like, and then they're saying like the Patriot fans did it.
No.
It wasn't a Patriots fans. It was just,
it happened. It's apparently happened before at other places where people just forget to, let their grill cool down or turn it off altogether, or leave some burning charcoal in it, and they just put it in the back seat like it's all good. And yeah, you don't have to do that anymore.
Well, hello, Jason from New Jersey. As you probably know, I'm from New Jersey as well originally, and us people from New Jersey would never do something so stupid like that, to leave a grill out and catch the tailgate on fire. So everyone turned out to be okay, not so much their cars, but it's one of those freak things where it's just like, sheesh, right? All right, so go ahead.
Yeah, no, just besides that, the atmosphere was tremendous. Leading up to the game, got to see a lot of our mutual friends. A lot of the Dolphin fans came out. A lot of them we saw at training camp, and some that didn't make it down to training camp were waiting for the season to start. So it was just great catching up with everybody. Saw Sean Wooden, also a former Miami Dolphin defensive back. That was pretty cool to see him out there. And yeah, no, it was great. The atmosphere was electric right when the gates opened.
So one thing I want to say before we get into the actual game, obviously we live in South Florida. There's a lot of people from all around the world who are not from Florida but moved down here, including those from New England, from Buffalo, from the tri-state area. So every away game, you typically have a good amount of opposing team fans, but especially that of New England, because like I said, a lot of people from New England do move down here. So we weren't surprised to see New England fans there. They were just a little different this year. Do you agree?
Yeah, I'll tell you one of the differences that I saw. I saw a lot of Brady jerseys, Gronk jerseys. I didn't see any of the new player jerseys. So they're still living in the past, and they're still bandwagon New England fans, the way I see it. So it's time to get some new jerseys. If you're going to continue to support the team, get the new jerseys, get the new gear, and let me see it, because I didn't see I saw a lot of people reliving past glory instead of the future Mac Jones years.
Definitely. And guys, the chat is open, so definitely we are here to chat with you. And maybe we're just being a little, salty because we're still like, I don't know about the whole Brady era, but still, it was definitely something to see that we saw more Brady jerseys, Gronkowski jerseys than for sure Mac Jones jerseys.
Mac who?
Yeah, no, definitely. But then, they can kind of say the same for us about like us wearing Dan Marino jerseys. I know you own one. I own one.
I own 5.
Okay.
Who's counting?
Definitely. Yeah, but no, the Patriot fans usually in general were usually aggressive. It's like they went into this game with not the same energy as we usually see from New England fans. So that was kind of like interesting. The game started, it was a 1:00 game, so obviously the worst time to play in South Florida. The New England Patriots came down to town on Tuesday. So they were trying to, quote unquote, condition for the game. But no matter how much you try, like I've been down here for 14 years, there's no conditioning to this heat.
Yeah, so we were 115 last year, which was on the opposing team side. And the
Section
stadium,
115, yeah.
Correct. The stadium was built by design to have the sun, be full force at that, 1 o'clock hour, all the way up to the end of the game for those early games. on the visiting team side. So that's what we were seeing last year.
Yeah.
And it was unbearable for a lot of games.
Gosh.
We were in the shade the whole game this go around, but it was still extremely hot. I mean, it just was a sweat fest, and it was humid out. It was tough. So they can say whatever they want about them coming down here and trying to get used to it.
Yeah.
There's no getting used to it. You can't prepare for 1 o'clock kickoff and being in those dark jerseys, which again, by design, the Dolphins make the opposing team wear their dark jerseys. It's not something that you just say, okay, I'm here a couple of days earlier and it's going to play out on game day. Didn't translate. So.
Definitely. So before the game started, obviously, it was 9/11, a day that's near and dear to my heart and to many other people's hearts, a day that we will never forget as a nation. So we knew going into that the NFL was going to do something. The Dolphins did do something great. They had the 9/11 logo. They did a moment of silence. So that was very, very much appreciated. And then right after that, to already put us in a sad mood, they go and bring out Jason Jenkins' family, his wife Elizabeth and his 3 kids. So we go from already being sad about 9/11 to seeing his beautiful family come on the field, holding Tua's hands to do the coin toss. So
they actually made the call. They made the call, the toss, and the Dolphins, ironically enough, won the toss. So
yeah, so that was definitely Jason's spirit to start our season winning the coin toss. Then we had a flyover, a beautiful flyover. That was fantastic. And then the players come out, right? They announced the players. And I got to tell you, the 3 loudest players that the fans cheered for, you can disagree with me. Tua was probably, I have 4. There's probably 4, right? Tua, they went crazy for. You got the Tua chants, went crazy. Tyreek Hill was probably the loudest in regards to fans going crazy. And then he came out like a cheetah. He was like, shh. Jalen Waddle and Mike Gesicki. Fans went crazy for those 4 players.
I don't know about Gesicki.
No, they showed love for him. Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you've got one of the most, loudest. Definitely Tyreek got the biggest one. And what I loved about Tyreek, not just his, the whole dancing that he did before he got in, he actually waited for Tua's name to be called. He's been hyping Tua up all year, and he waited for Tua's name to be called, and he walked out onto the field with him. So that was awesome.
So that all happened before the game. The tailgate was fantastic. 9/11. Nice moment of silence for Jason Jenkins and a crazy, crazy, crazy hype introduction. Then the game starts. So we're excited, right? We're in the stands. But I personally, even up to that point, I was pretty confident we were going to win. But it's always in the back of my head. It's still New England. It's still Bill Belichick. So let's talk.
So the game, it got off to a little bit of a slow start in terms of, we had 2 possessions where we didn't really come away with big point. We got a field goal, but we didn't get touchdowns out of it. And then, a little bit into the first quarter, we get huge defensive play. First the interception, and then the actual hit on Mac Jones from Brendan Jones that caused the fumble recovery for a touchdown.
In our end zone, which was pretty cool.
Which was awesome, right in front of us. That was cool. So, the offense was not as up to par as we would have liked to have seen. We all wanted just throw the ball down to Tyreek and get it going right away.
Yeah.
That didn't develop as we liked, but still, we put points on the board. It was just the defense doing that, not the offense.
So why do you think? So we know when we our preseason game, I think it was against the Eagles, Coach McDaniels opened up with that deep pass to Tyreek. It was 46 yards. Why do you think we didn't pull it?
First of all, you could do that in the preseason because the Eagles weren't playing any of their starters. Yeah. They rested pretty much everybody, and it's a preseason game, so you could take a chance. They started with the ball first, and we obviously had that pick. But the first possessions for us, we were kind of on our side of the field, and if you throw the ball and it ends up being deflected and picked off, now you're giving them the ball over in our territory. So I can see
with the possibility of them scoring the first touchdown.
So you don't want that to happen. So, but no, the defense pretty much set the tone. Mm-hmm. First with the interception by Javon Holland, and then the big play by Brandon Jones that forced the fumble that Ingram was able to take into the end zone. And then we again stalled a little bit, and then right before the half, Mike McDaniel makes this tremendous call to Waddle, which a lot of people were saying, is he playing for the field goal here? Is he just trying to get a little bit more yards to get Jason Sanders closest to a more approachable, doable kick?
Yeah.
And no, he actually just calls a perfect play, gets Waddle, one-on-one. The safety bit came up. Waddle burned 2 guys, and Dolphins are going into the half with a nice lead. So
one thing I noticed in the first half, and I whispered to you, I didn't whisper to you, but I had to tell you, So interestingly enough, Chase Edmonds, just picked him up in the offseason, actually had more touches than Waddle and Gesicki combined. That was not the case, obviously, last year. Last year, Waddle and Gesicki were Tua's people. So to see Chase Edmonds, a running back, get those many touches and yards was interesting. And obviously when we picked him up, we knew it was going to be huge. But really seeing it in action was nice to see, and definitely I'm really excited to see what that's going to lead to.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, Chase Edmonds was money all game. He pretty much was involved running the ball and also catching it out of the backfield. He hyped the crowd up, and he did that all in Arizona last year too.
Yeah.
He's a tremendous. He's quick and he has great hands. So that's going to be the MO. He's probably going to, which is the next thing that I want to talk about. He's probably going to cause more damage on the catching side and running side, which is good and bad. We'll discuss that in a little bit. But yeah, Chase Edmonds, you got to love the way he came on in his first game.
Definitely. Talking about loving things. Shout out to Chef. Chef brought I think 4 or 5 dozen of cupcakes. I saw him walking with these big white boxes, and I knew what was in there, but I was already chilling and my tailgating mode. I should have stopped you for one, but thank you for supplying the cupcakes to the tailgate. They looked fantastic. Just save me one next time.
Thanks, that was great.
Definitely. So go ahead. You were saying.
Yeah, no. So the only thing that I didn't sit well with me. You always take the win, especially in the first game, especially against a division rival. So you take it. The only thing that is a little bit unsettling is the stats were very similar.
Yes.
So at the end of the day, we had 3 turnovers. They had none. And those 3 turnovers that we caused on them, 2 of those directly led to scores. They had, we had no turnovers.
Which is great.
Which is great, but you're not going to get that every game. So if you look at the stats, it's pretty close.
On paper, it was close.
Correct.
Yeah.
So the total yards, New England had 271, and Miami had 307. So that's not that big of a disparity. The problem that I have is that the rushing attack for New England had 78 yards, nothing great, but we had 65 yards, which is not good at all. If we don't have those 2 turnovers, and now you're counting on the running game to move you, down the field a little bit more, we would have had that cushion that we had because of those 2, plays by the defense. So the running game is something that has to be cleaned up. I also wish at the end of the game where we were throwing the ball more, I wanted us to run the ball. I wanted us to run that clock out, which we ended up doing.
Yeah.
But after punting the ball, twice more to them. And, you need to run the football to be a winning football team. You're not going to get away with 65 yards running. That's not good enough. So we got to clean that up. We got to and I almost feel again that they were not even trying to do it. They were just like, hey, we're going to just keep passing the ball, which it was working. Don't get me wrong, but you're going to have to run the football in order to win games down the road. So.
I agree. So let's talk about the big elephant in the room, right? And this is one that Dolphin fans are talking about, other teams are talking about, broadcasters talking about. Tua, game 1. How do you think you did? I mean, I have an opinion, and ours might be a little different. I'll share mine. But with Tua, obviously, let's be real. The microscope, the spotlight is on him this year. As I said on every other show I've done, you have all these weapons, right? You have a great coach. You have a fan base that believes in you. You have all these great attributes to make you a great quarterback. On last Sunday, there were a few underthrown passes, but you're going to see that with any quarterback, right? I don't care if it's a veteran quarterback. I don't care if he's been in the league for 10 years, 5 years, 2 years, it's going to happen. So I don't think that every one of his passes should be criticized saying, oh my goodness, that was underthrown. The part that I didn't like was that there were some times where he was getting sacked, and instead of just spiking the ball down or even running out of bounds, he kind of threw it, and that could have easily been set up for an interception. So I don't want to say that's a rookie mistake, but as he, becomes more comfortable in the league, he's gonna hopefully break out of that habit, because that could have been, there was 1 or 2 times where it's like, oh crap, But I think if you compare how Tua looked compared to Mac Jones, people have said the best quarterback in the AFC East, it is Josh Allen, right? We can all agree on that.
No question.
But the number 2, it has been, people have said Mac Jones over Tua many, many, many times. After last game, I would have to disagree with that. I think Tua is the number 2 quarterback. And obviously I'm not bringing Joe Flacco into this conversation. So it's more of
it's Zach Wilson. It's
Zach
Joe Flacco's.
I'm going week by week. It's the Jets. You go week by week, right? So I would have to disagree with a lot of people who say Josh Allen and then Mac Jones. It is Josh Allen number one, but as of right now, from what I saw, it is a Tua number two.
Right. So, Mac Jones is in his second year. Tua's in his third.
Yeah.
Now, Tua didn't play his first year really sparingly. It was Fitzpatrick getting most of the touches. So, he's got a year up on him if you want to play it that way. But, they're still figuring out what they're going to do with Mac Jones. Mac Jones also last year against the Bills in a game, he only threw the ball 6 times, which, we're going to get into the 1972 segment here down the road.
Yep.
That's pretty much what Brian Griese used to do. He had Mercury Morris, Larry Zonka, and Jim Kick. It was handoff, and he threw the ball 4 or 5 times a game. Well, that's what the Patriots did with Mac Jones last year. He threw 6 passes in the entire game against the Bills. And it wasn't even a snow game. They were running the ball, and so they don't trust him all the way yet. So I'd give the advantage to Tua, but look what Tua has to work with. The Patriots right now don't have a big running back, core.
Yeah.
They're running back by committee, and it's about 5 guys they're using, and they have no star wide receiver. Their star wide receiver is a guy that we let go and gave them for a 3rd-round pick in Devontae Parker. So there's no Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle on the roster. Even a guy like Cedric Wilson, who had some big catches on Sunday, he was a number 2 receiver in Dallas. So they don't have that kind of a guy. And that's why maybe Mac Jones, isn't able to flourish, or they're not trusting him as much as one would expect.
Which makes sense. And just wrapping up last week's game with our defense.
Well, I'm sorry. Go ahead. So Tua, I thought he did great. He missed a couple of throws, but Tyreek also dropped 2 balls. It's funny. Tyreek dropped 2 I thought were for sure catches. He almost always makes those catches. And then he made a catch on a ball that had no business being caught that Tua kind of threw up in the air. To your point, Tua took 3 sacks. He was kind of running a little bit into problems there where he, like you said, he should throw the ball away or, take a sack instead of trying to make a ball throw downfield. But, I thought he was fine. He was 23 at 30. That's pretty good. He put up 270 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah.
No interceptions. Didn't fumble the ball. What more can you ask for? I mean, that's and the defense did its job. So I thought he did great, and I'm excited to see him progress.
Definitely. We have Allie in the chat. I want to say hey to you. We are so excited to spend this weekend with you. All right. We don't usually get to say that. Real quick, as you guys may or may not know, there is quite a few of us either coming from Florida up to Baltimore, or our fan clubs in the area, or just people in general going up to Baltimore for the Ravens versus Baltimore, or Baltimore Ravens versus Dolphins, week 2 this week, Sunday in Baltimore. Allie and I are hosting an awesome post-game party at Pickles Pub, which is like a 5 to 10 minute walk from the stadium. So everyone is invited. Please, if you know somebody who is going to the game, if you're going to be there, we want to see as many people as possible. Just a fun time to meet people who we may not get to meet because they live up north, and hopefully celebrate a week 2 victory. So Allie and myself will be hosting it. We are so excited to meet you guys. You will be there. Jared will be there. We have a great group. We have our triangle.
Shout out to Jared. He'll be there. Looking forward to hanging out with my buddy.
Oh, you guys are going to be put to work. We have jobs for you. Allie and I are being Miss Things there. You guys are put to work.
We're the bouncers. I get it.
You're the bouncers. But no, guys, seriously, if you are coming up to Baltimore, we would love for you to join us at our after party at Pickles Pub this Sunday. We'll talk about it a little more later. But as Allie's saying, Baltimore Beatdown is going to be lit. After party at Pickles with us. We can't wait to see you. It's going to be fantastic. So just recapping on, again, this week's game. Only thing I was kind of really concerned about is really not Tua. It's not Tua. It's our offensive line. And now with Teron Armstead, he's kind of questionable going into Sunday now.
Right. He's got a toe issue, but, it's not a leg injury or back. Toe, something that you can.
Have you ever, you want to talk about toes? When you stub your toe on the bed, you act like you got amputated there.
I get it.
Toes are bad.
Listen, it's Wednesday, week of the game. So they're gonna do all the necessary treatment that they'll be doing to get them ready to go Sunday, and I have no doubt that they'll suit up and be ready.
Definitely. So
the other guy's Van Ginkel. So Van Ginkel obviously missed week 1, which is scary. We brought back the same exact defense for the most part that we had last year. And Van Ginkel was a part of that. He missed this game, a game that we had 3 turnovers, 2 of them that led to scores. you're bringing Van Ginkel back into that, a guy that can cause some pressure up front.
Yeah.
And as a playmaker, he's returned balls back for a touchdown as well. That's huge if he can get back out there on the field.
Definitely. So hopefully we have a full healthy squad going into Sunday, because we'll talk about it in a little bit, but Baltimore is not going to be easy. In fact, I shared with you just early before the show.
I didn't know this.
A fun fact. So guys, here's a fun fact for you.
I didn't like that at all.
Fact music. So I shared this with my boss earlier, and he was like, "Yep." So he already knew about it. So a little fact.
I did not like this. I wish you would have told me that.
Okay. Well, I'll be the bearer of bad news.
To them, you already told me. You already ruined my night.
Ew, gosh. Okay. No, this is really a bad fact about going into Sunday. As per the Miami Dolphins communications team, the Dolphins have never won at M&T Bank Stadium, which opened in 1998. The Dolphins are 0-4 all-time there, with the team's last victory in Baltimore coming on October 19th, 1997, so at the old stadium. So we have never won a game since 1990 at that stadium. We beat them. We beat them last year.
No, but when you say was the last victory in Baltimore?
1997.
At Baltimore?
Yes. According to the Dolphins, the team's last victory in Baltimore was in 1997. They came from the Dolphins. Yeah. I'm sure they fact-checked their stuff.
Right.
So, essentially...
So, we're 0-4 in that stadium.
Yeah. Okay. That's not good.
I did share this a while back. We haven't been to the playoffs very often, but our last two playoff games, both at home, was against the Ravens, and they were not close. I think one was 20-6, and the other one was a lot more than that. So, just bad history vibes against the Ravens that we're looking to, hopefully turn around on Sunday.
Definitely. So, last thing I just want to say before we talk about Sunday, one more thing that I have to add about New England. Bill Belichick, right? Here's the thing. The man has rings, right? He's won championships. He's a well-respected coach in NFL. He knows the game. But he had that number 2 pencil in his ear, that same nasty face on. And the one thing I really didn't like, and I'm going to be very like Mother Teresa here, at the end of the game, and we didn't see this because we were like celebrating and, taking our picture and everything. He goes up to Mike McDaniel. And he knows Mike McDaniel's his first NFL game as a head coach, right? First game ever. And instead of giving him like a hug or even a handshake, hey, great job, wish you best luck, this is what he does. I mean, me.
I didn't see it.
It was like, let me do it again. Me. That was Bill Belichick's response to congratulating Mike McDaniel on his first one. So it just goes to show you who he is, type of person. You know what I mean? You lost a game, great, but you already have a full resume. This is the new generation, next generation of coaches. Yeah, well, it'll be a little better, but what would you expect from him anyways?
Yeah, the guy, first of all, the guy looks about as fun as a bowling ball being dropped on your head. I mean, the guy has no sense of humor. He's always got this poor disposition look on his face.
Yeah.
Bad demeanor. I mean, the guy's, again, not a fun guy. Not an engaging guy, a very salty guy. I mean, I could be salty too. But,
that's
but come on, Bill. Like you just said, it was his first game. His first victory. Be somewhat. He's a long way from catching up to any of your accolades. Be the bigger person at that point. Just take the L and be cool with it.
Definitely. So, last thing about the Patriots, I don't want to talk about them anymore. Yeah. I had a New England Patriots fan reach out to me on Twitter and say, "Hey, can we make a bet that if the Patriots beat the Dolphins, you have to do a picture with whatever I say. But if the Dolphins beat the Patriots, he has to do whatever I said." So I said, you know what? I said, okay, right? I'm feeling confident at that moment. And if tables were turned, this could have been really bad now that I'm thinking about it. Like, he could have made me have a sign that says, like, oh, I want to lick Tom Brady's toes or, like, whatever, right? I don't know what this guy was capable of doing. We don't even follow each other. It was just some random Patriots fan, and I was feeling all beefy. And I'm like, sure.
All right, so what is he going to do?
Okay, he already did it.
What did he do?
Okay, I'm going to show you guys first. I tweeted it earlier. Okay, so this guy, I made him post that. So this is the guy, right? He's wearing a Patriots hat. He's wearing a Boston Bruins shirt. And the sign that says is 305 Sports Babe turned me into a Dolphins fan, fins up.
Okay.
So
he just has to say that. He's not really.
No.
Don't tell me he's become a Dolphin.
No, he posted it. He posted it for all his followers.
He's just saying.
Yeah, he's saying it, but he had to hold a sign. You can't see it, guys.
You gotta click this.
Okay. Well, you guys can't really see it, but go on my page. You guys are on Twitter.
Wow.
So yeah. So let's go. Right?
Go.
Okay. Enough about the game. Great victory, guys. We are technically tied in first place in the AFC East because Jets lost against the Ravens and we beat the Patriots. So we are tied in first. So right now we have the same record as we did in 1972. Talking about 1972.
Well, we're going to talk about the Ravens first.
Okay.
Yeah, so the Ravens, they beat the Jets in week 1, 24-9. It wasn't that close. The Jets had like a 3-0, or no, I think it was a 6-0 lead in that game, and then the Ravens just took over. Playing, of course, with Joe Flacco as their quarterback. Zach Wilson got hurt during the preseason, so Flacco was in there. This is the Baltimore Ravens team that we handled, down here last year pretty
Thursday
well.
Night Football.
We destroyed them. So, Lamar Jackson, fantastic player, former MVP, but we took care of him last year, and we're running back the same defense as we did. So, I'm not saying that that's the reason why, it's going to be a tough game. And we're underdogs by 3.5 points right now.
Okay.
It's going to be close. I mean, it's going to be tough for us to win the game, but you have to feel good about the fact that you handled that same team last year. They didn't really address. They got rid of one of the receivers, I believe, that went to Arizona, Hollywood Brown. He went to Arizona, and then their top playmaker on offense is their tight end, Mark Andrews. That's really rare.
That's how players,
right. Like Kansas City has Kelsey, obviously,
of course, but that doesn't
after
really
they lost Hill, but not a lot of star quarterbacks. Their tight end is their go-to guy every play, and that's pretty much their top playmaker. Their running back is Kenyon Drake, obviously very familiar to the Miami audience, but he was signed 2 weeks ago, so he just got signed, and he's still trying to get caught up in that playbook. They're offensively they're lacking now on the defensive side of the ball. As always, they have great linebackers and a good front four.
Mm-hmm.
New England did as well.
Yeah.
So no, I feel that we're going to have a chance to get in there and come out with a victory.
And I'm surprised you missed the major injury report for the Ravens.
What is it?
Their mascot.
Oh yes.
Their mascot is not like there, or if he's there, he's not the mascot. So it's like a fake TD. It's like a bootleg TD. So not having your mascot there, the real one, that's like a huge man down there. So going into this Sunday, like I'm going to speak for myself, and you can obviously want you to chime in. I was more confident going into week 1 than I am going to week 2. It is a road game. Raven fans will fill it up. They'll show up. They're still salty about last year. Right. It's gonna be that stadium is a monster stadium. It's not one of the nicest ones. Like, we're not going there for as opposed to like when we went to the Saints game last year. That stadium was fantastic. So it's kind of like a whatever stadium.
Well,
it's whatever, a great time.
It's a brand new stadium, so I've heard a lot of it. It's a really nice stadium. So it's going to be loud. They have very loyal fans there, and so it's going to be a tough game, no doubt. But based on, just to compare the two, we took care of a Patriot team that went to the playoffs last year, and they beat a team in the Jets that they're the Jets.
But the score going into the half, it doesn't matter going into the half. It matters with the final outcome. But it was like 3-0 going into the half.
The Jets had a 6-0 lead to start.
6-0, okay.
And then the Ravens put them away.
So that is interesting.
Again, they're gonna face a lot better competition against us than they face with the Jets, and vice versa. So I'm excited for it, and I think that we're gonna have a chance to come out with a victory.
Definitely, guys. Drop your score predictions for this Sunday. Curious to see what you guys are thinking for this Sunday. Dolphins versus Ravens, week 2. Both teams are 1-0 right now. What's your score prediction?
I haven't thought about it yet.
Well, you need to think about it. Hello, we're like a few days from game day.
I'll tell you what I want. I just want us to move the ball consistently, and I want to see us be able to run the ball. I thought Mostert should have gotten more touches,
He's
more
so
of an
fast.
opportunity, and that way you keep Edmonds fresh, because look, Edmonds is going to be involved. He's just too good of a catcher that they're going to keep on, using him in that, way. So you have to give Mostert the opportunity to run the ball. And you've got Gaskin also back
Miles,
there who did it for us last year, and Ahmed. So you have to run the ball. I would love to see us, establish a running game and drive the ball down the field.
So are you pleading the 5th for your score prediction?
So I am going to say I don't think we can get into a shootout with them. I don't think that's possible for.
It's going to be 30-27. We're going to win it, but it's going to come down to
what you said? 30
to 27.
I don't think we could put up that many points on them. I'm going to say.
You said someone, maybe it wasn't you, but someone said that to me last week, saying we're going to be able to put that many points against the Patriots. I think maybe it was my brother, actually. And we ended up winning. So I am sticking to 30-27.
Okay, I'm going to say 23-21 Dolphins.
I will literally have a heart attack in the stands if it's that close.
Well, I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be close.
Yeah, that'll be crazy, crazy. So we'll see. All right, so we're going to recap week 1. Going into week 2, we got the Ravens. But let's go back to history. Let's back to the future, right? We always talk about, like, what happened in the future, any time zone could be in. If I could be in any time zone, I would want to relive not relive because I didn't live it once, but I would want to be part of the 1972 Dolphin season. So
agreed. We
are going to have Lou, hopefully weekly, give us what happened during 1972 season this week in Dolphins football.
Okay, so
it's our new little segment right into the show.
What we're going to do is we're going to give you some fun facts about the year 1972, and then we'll talk about what the Dolphins did. So this week in 1972, the Summer Olympics were wrapping up over in Germany, and the U.S. finished second in the total medal count. Only the Soviet Union, they had 94 medals. The Soviet Union had 99. So we missed out by 5 medals by having the overall count. Also, the drama comedy, I don't know if you ever heard of this show, but MASH actually debuted this week in 1972.
Do you know that show?
I've heard of it. It's a very, it was before my time.
Do you guys know what MASH is? I've heard of it.
It's a dramedy, they call it. It's a drama comedy based on activities during war.
Okay.
Correct. And so it actually debuted this week, 50 years ago in 1972. It ran on CBS for 11 years, and their final episode, so 11 years later, that would put us at 1983. My math's right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so their final episode ever is still to this day one of the highest viewed programs.
Highest rating series
in all of the U.S. It's pretty much Super Bowl, MASH, and then the rest are all
I did hear something like that.
Yeah. Just to go show you, that was the 2 big things that happened in 72. And then we're also going to give you a celebrity that was born in 1972. And for my first, so we got hopefully, we're going to do 17 weeks. So we'll give you 17 celebrities born in 1972 or significant people. And this week I chose an easy one. Actually has Miami ties. Helped deliver a championship to a Miami team. I'm talking about the Miami Heat. I'm not sure if anybody's in the room wants to guess, but I am talking. Do you know who it is?
You stumped. I'm not good at riddles, and your clues are not that great all the time
Anybody
either.
out there want to chime in?
Hello, is anyone out there?
She needs a lifeline right now.
Hello, phone a friend. Phone a friend.
3 seconds here, nobody.
3, 2, 1. All right, guys, I just lost $1 million.
All right, so the person I'm talking about is, of course, the big Aristotle, the Diesel, Shaquille O'Neal, born on March 6, 1972.
Okay. First of all, you should have said with your clues, Papa John's. I would have been like, yeah, bro, just say Papa John's.
I said that he had Miami ties because he helped deliver a championship to
all
Miami
you had
team.
to say was Papa John's, and I wouldn't guess Shaquille O'Neal.
All right,
really?
So those are our facts for this week in 1972. As for the Dolphins, they were actually getting ready for their first week opponent, the Kansas City Chiefs at Arrowhead. That was going to be the first game this week, would have been on September the 17th, 1972. So they were getting ready for that game. They wrapped up the preseason around this time 50 years ago. Back then, here's a fun fact. They played, we used to play 4 games. They reduced it now where it's 3 games. Back then, they used to play 6 games, 6 preseason games.
Oh my goodness.
The Dolphins, of course, were coming off a Super Bowl loss to the Cowboys in 1971. They got beat 24-3 to the Cowboys.
Poor Cowboys this year.
And then,
Dak.
They're not too good. But so the Dolphins finished the preseason with a record of 3-3. So 500 preseason. But again, a team that was just coming off a Super Bowl appearance.
Yeah.
So, that's where we are in 1972. The Dolphins were wrapped up the preseason, getting ready for Kansas City week 1.
I'm still stuck on that 6 preseason games. Like I cringe every time we have a preseason game, praying and hoping no one gets injured. I can't imagine doing that for 6 times.
And what's crazy too is back then,
less injuries.
Well, yes and no, but back then, more injuries probably back then. But back then they didn't have like 80 people show up. Remember back then a lot of the Dolphins had other jobs, so they were working
so wild to think
insurance.
Yeah,
Dick
yeah,
Anderson
yeah.
was a tremendous businessman,
Yeah.
literally going from working out a 9-to-5 job and then saying, hey, I gotta have some time off because I gotta go get ready for the football season. So different times for sure, but yeah, that's where the Dolphins were in 72. And how they did against the Chiefs, well, you're going to have to tune in next week and we'll tell you all about it. I have a feeling they won that game.
I think so. I don't think the Chiefs were too good that year. And
no, actually, you're wrong about that. They were good.
Oh, I think we were better, though.
We were better, of course. But
I'm saying we won that game.
I'm going to go ahead and say we might. But you have to tune in and see how we did that last week. And speaking of the Chiefs, they did lose the opposing quarterback to Bob Greasy, Len Dawson, a former MVP in the Super Bowl. So he passed away last 2 weeks ago, I believe. So got some prayers to Len Dawson. He was an awesome figure in the game.
Definitely. All right. So real quick, obviously we spoke about our week 1, so we're still on our victory Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday vibe. But there were some big games on Sunday where we were like, what the heck happened? My shocker, and probably a lot of other people's shockers, was Tennessee losing to the Giants.
Yeah.
Right? Tennessee was obviously the favorites. Ryan Tannehill, who was our quarterback for many, many years, goes against the Giants, who are just a very questionable team this year, new coach, and just trying to figure out the ropes. And they ended up losing that game. Another shocker, obviously, and when I say shockers, these are teams that I didn't pick to win or lose, and they ended whatever. So obviously I had Tennessee winning. They did not win. The other one that shocked me, shocked the world, probably shocked you too, is Denver losing to Seattle. Obviously, Denver has Russell Wilson as their quarterback now. Russell Wilson comes back to Seattle. We watched the first half of that game at home, and before that happened, before the game actually started, when they announced Russell Wilson, or they announced the Broncos, I told you that they were going to boo Russell Wilson. And you're like, babe, no, they're not. They love him. And then what happened? Boo! And then Lil rewinded it because he's like, no, they're cheering for him. And then you literally see 3 guys' lips go, ooh.
No, I don't think they were. I think they were doing what they should.
You still don't think they were booing him?
So they cheered him as he, made his trek from the sideline to the huddle. Once he got under center and led the huddle, they started booing him. Seattle fans are notorious for that. They're that's one of the loudest NFL stadiums.
It is.
And they have a crazy fan base out there. So, they were booing him, but they were booing him at the right time. I thought they gave him a nice little, cheer before the game started. So
Russell,
as far as shockers for me, I thought the Steelers beating the Bengals on the road, I thought that was crazy. I didn't think the defending AFC champions would go down to a Steeler team that
without Ben and
starting
Brian
guy.
Flores.
Mitch Trubisky is a guy that has been a cast off. He really hasn't lived up to the billing. And so that was a little bit shocking. Their offensive line isn't that good either. The Bears, I know they were at home, but beating a 49er team that a lot of people, think are going to go back to the NFC Championship game and possibly the Super Bowl. So for them to lose on the road to the Bears, there was crazy weather conditions in that game, though. It was raining all the time.
And you say Bears, we actually decided that that's probably one of our away games that we're going to go to maybe later in the season in Chicago. And before we started looking at tickets, you were like, oh, just wait. Bears are going to be terrible. Tickets are going to be so low. If they keep winning, those tickets are going to
Well, we'll see how that goes. But the Saints also just barely beat the Falcons. That was pretty shocking because the Falcons got rid of their, all-time quarterback and Matt Ryan. That was a little bit shocking. And then 2 blowouts that I didn't see coming at all. The Vikings just whooping the Packers and the Chiefs destroying the Cardinals. I didn't see those at all. I thought those games would be a little bit more competitive.
There was a lot of them.
We had a tie as well. The Texans and the Colts. Tie.
So weird.
That was weird.
Let them play until they figure it out. It's the 0-1 thing. It's just I can't stand it. Even in soccer, just let them finish it out. Who's in a rush to go home?
Well, I mean, it's tough in football because the toll that it takes on your body to get through that game. You can't just keep playing for 3 overtimes. You can't do that. So I understand, but you never want to see a tie week 1 for sure. The biggest one was also the Rams and the Bills.
Starting Thursday night,
Correct. That was. I thought the Rams would be a little bit more competitive, so I'm surprised. I picked the Bills to win, but I thought the Rams would have been more competitive. And the scary thing is that game really could have gotten out of hand. It was 31-10 as it is, but it could have been 45-10 because the Bills turned the ball over 3 times and gave the Rams those opportunities to put up those 10 points. But that game could have been 45, 48 to 10. Yeah. So it just goes to show you
any given Sunday, any given Thursday,
how scary the Bills are. And so we got to watch out because they're going to be they definitely have the inside track to win the division, and a lot of people's pick to go to the Super Bowl.
Talking about the Bills, a little off topic, but not really. Somebody did something very, 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 very nice to me today, and I kind of shared with you, but I really didn't because I know you're super busy at work. As you guys know, Dolphins Cancer Challenge is going on. A lot of us are raising money for it, and it'll be 100% of the funds go to the University of Miami Sylvester Cancer Center. So we all have goals that we're reaching to obviously do the cycle and to do the run. I was about a little under $1,000. My goal is $3,000, and I had somebody, a Dolphins fan from Chicago, reach out to me, message me today, and said, "Hey Ash, my name is Maddie. I'm a huge Dolphins fan from Chicago. I'm a season ticket holder. I have 2 tickets and a parking pass for the game against the Bills." He goes, "I'm going to sell it for $500, but whoever wants it, I want them to do a donation to DCC for the tickets." And I knew this guy did this for Big E the week before. So I was like, oh my gosh, like this is huge. A season ticket holder, instead of selling your tickets on StubHub or Ticketmaster, when he can't go to the games, he's donating the funds to go for Dolphins Cancer Challenge. So within 2 hours, I get a message from Yvonne, is one of our Dolphins fans in Buffalo, New York, and him and his wife is a Bills fan, and they've never been down to Miami for a game. And Yvonne said, like, "Hey, Ash, I want to come down for the game. Are those tickets still available?" And I said, yes. Within 5 minutes, Yvonne donated $500 to the Dolphins Cancer Challenge for the ride, and Maddie transferred the tickets. So that's awesome. Honestly, like, I was so blown away by the act of kindness for someone to donate their on behalf of Dolphins Cancer Challenge, and then super excited to see Yvonne and his wife down here. So just really, like, the world is still a good place. Even though there's Patriot fans out there, the world is still a good place.
Yeah, I can't stand any of those fans, but to your point, the Bills Mafia, they always do great stuff. Again, I can't stand them, as far as fans wise, but their heart's in a good place. They always make crazy charitable contributions to all kinds of causes. I believe something would happen last year with the Bengals when the Bengals, or one of the years where they lost a playoff game and something turned out and they ended up donating after the playoff loss. They donated, every Bills fan pretty much made a donation to put it over the top. So they're pretty their heart's definitely in the right place, even though their team isn't.
Yeah, so no, definitely just I work in philanthropy, I work in fundraising, and for someone to do that was fantastic. Hey, Bearded Fins fan, a little shout out. It's A-okay. Listen, thank you. You're not that's my buddy. Thank you for having me on your show last week. I had a great time with you guys. Good seeing you last week. So definitely, guys, give him a follow, shout out. Great show. I was honored to be on your show last week.
A great beard. He's got a great beard.
His is actually, he's beat yours. You have like 4 inches on your beard to grow, on your beard. Yeah. Anyways, last thing I want to talk about, I know that you're pretty salty about what's going on with the MLB. When I say salty, we've accepted the fact that the Marlins are done. Obviously, like, there's no turning back.
This is not a Marlins issue.
I know, but I just want to say, I want to talk about the Marlins. I was on a show Monday Morning Homilist, and I was on a show with my 2 coworkers, and my one coworker, like, our studio at work, we have like all the flags of Miami. So the Dolphins flag, Heat flag, and halfway through the show, my coworker gets up and just rips the Marlins flag. That was great. So
and the way they teased it was fantastic. Oh, he's going for
I said, George, and then you hear me say, George, what are you doing?
That was really funny.
So yeah, I mean, let's just not talk about the Marlins. However, we will be at the game on Friday. We are flying up tomorrow to spend a few days in DC before we head to Baltimore. And we're mostly going to check out Nationals Park. It's a ballpark that you've never gone to, and we are both baseball junkies, so just taking baseball. Sure enough, our Marlins are in town. We probably still would have went to the game if the Marlins weren't in town, but it does make it a little bittersweet that they are in town. So we'll be catching the Marlins Nats on Friday night. But enough about the Marlins per se. You're a little peeled about these rule changes.
Yeah, so they came out with these rules now where they're going to make bigger bases. They're going to have a pitch clock, and they are going missing one now. And the shift. They took away the shift. So essentially, what they're doing is they're saying that baseball's boring, which it is. I'll be the first one to admit it. I love baseball. I love it.
Anyone want a new girlfriend?
It's a boring sport.
I love baseball. Oh my gosh.
What did I just say? I said I love baseball, but I can admit that it's a boring sport, especially if you're comparing it to basketball or football or hockey, which is fast paced. The puck is on the ground, people are going after it. Yeah. The ball is snapped every 20 seconds, and the ball's being thrown. There's a hit, there's a tackle, there's so much going on. Basketball, every 2 seconds, you're dribbling.
Okay, we get it. Baseball's boring.
Right. Baseball takes a long time to develop. I understand. My point, though, is that you either like it or you don't. They're trying to cut like 5 or 10 minutes of the game. If you are really, do they think that people are going to tune in now because the game is 5 minutes shorter? You either like it or you don't. But let's not try to change, baseball is the longest tenured sport besides soccer, but in America, baseball is the number one longest tenured sport. They've been playing it since the 1830s. So now you're going to all of a sudden, fix it. And adding all these elements, specifically with a pitch clock.
Yeah.
Baseball is the one sport where there is no watch. Okay, every other sport, we got to move here. We're up against it. The clock's running down. There's no clock in baseball. Okay, you bat until you make the last out. And until you make the last out, you have a chance. I've been at games where there's been 10 runs down and, the game's over. And, hey, you still got more outs to make. You don't make those outs, and they came back, and the Marlins won that game. So,
well, you have people on your side. Our buddy Sandy. Sandy is one of my great, great Dolphin fans who lives in Southern California. She also agrees with you. Baseball is good, but it is boring out there. Sandy, I hope to see you fan club weekend again. Hopefully you're coming up in October. I miss you. But no, I do agree. Like, it is boring, but
you're messing with the integrity of the game.
Yeah.
Okay, what you're basically saying is that we want the game to be quicker, but you're giving away advantages to other players. In this particular case, you're messing with the defensive aspect of the game, pitchers and fielders. By doing the shift, now you take away an aspect that was a strategy. Hey, you're going to move this way. I have the chance to go this way. Or the defense, hey, we're going to shut down this part of your game. And now with the pitch clock, the same thing. You're having a guy, imagine you come in from the bullpen and the bases are loaded. You haven't been in the game at all. You come on here, and now not only are there 3 guys on base, now you got to worry about some clock hurrying you up. You're already nervous. You already are up against it. And now you got this clock that's going to make you move around quicker in order to get the ball across the plate. So I disagree with it. The game is what it is. Yeah. It's a great game. You either like it or you don't, but don't mess with it. Don't come up with these crazy rules to try and make a new game. If that's the case, make a new game and forget 4 bases, put 5 bases. Have a clock if you want to do that.
You're really upset about this.
It is. It's upset. I'm sorry. It's just it's not right, and it's
No, I agree. And you're not the only person who said this. Obviously, I've seen people's tweets and stuff, and they're talking about it. They're trying to work their new market, right? Like, the older generation of baseball fans are dying. The newer generation, the millennials and below, we have a shorter attention span. We're either
that's your problem.
Oh my gosh. All right, old man.
Your problem.
Okay, but no, this is why they're doing it, right? Because millennials, there's so many, I've done studies with millennials and people my own age and stuff. It's like brand loyalty, right? If I go to a hair salon and I don't like the way my hair came out, I will not go back to that hair salon. So it's like, it's all these things how millennials are. We're not brand loyal. And if you're not adhering to us, you're going to lose us. So I think that has to do with one of it. I mean, what else is the reason?
The reason is you're trying to upset, the fans, and trying to appease a segment of the population that ultimately is not going to, they're not going to care.
Sandy made a good point. They did that to NASCAR, and I don't watch it anymore.
What did they do to NASCAR?
They totally, from the Jeff Gordon ages and the Dale Earnhardts to what it is now, it's completely different. So what they do now, Sandy, correct me if I'm wrong. They used to have one solid race. Now they break it into
the cup, the chase for the cup. Or
no, they break it into segments. They'll be okay, the first 60 laps, the first 120 laps. It was never like that. It was just 300 laps. So They did that different. I happen to like a little NASCAR, but she is right. It is different than what it used to be. It's the first, a 1 out of 60 laps, but then it's 300 laps altogether. Our friend Battered Fins fan. Was the steroid era the best kind of baseball? Oh, great question. What do you think?
I mean, it was the most exciting. It was exciting because they were mimicking something that was done, in the '60s, where you had the great home run race between Babe Ruth and Roger Maris. I'm sorry, Roger Maris and Mickey Mantle. Sorry, chasing Babe Ruth. So it goes in cycles. So the excitement there was for the home run race between those two, trying to catch Babe Ruth, 61, the number 60, trying to eclipse him with 61. But again, that was something that was great for the game, and now they think that by putting a pitch clock, you're going to get back to that, or switching the rules around. I mean, that has nothing to do with stuff.
See, you made a good point. The baseball, the Bonds, the Sosa McGuire, like that's the baseball I grew up watching. That era, he's around my age as well. It is just different.
But the time that if you go back to that era, the rules were where they presently are now. There was no pitch clock. I think if anything, it's going to make it worse. And the biggest selling point is, you have to ask yourself, are you going to watch the game if you otherwise didn't, because it's 5 minutes short or 10 minutes short?
You're not. That doesn't make the game.
You either like the game or you don't. I mean, that's what
Sandy said, that is the reason, because it used to be, like I said, it used to be like 300 laps straight there. Now it's in like the 1 through 60. So you grew up near the Pocono. Yeah. No, I lived in Daytona for like 7 years. I've been to the 500, the Coke Zero, the Rolex. We went to the race. We went to the Homestead last year. No, you don't, because I kind of introduced you to NASCAR, and back in the day, it was like 300 laps. You dog it out, but now it's very different. So that's a good point, that rules are changing, based on leave baseball alone. Baseball should be how it is. What else are they going to do? I mean, soon I'll tell you what they're going to do next. They're going to put logos on the jerseys. That's going to come. The marketing is going to get more and more and more. Mm-hmm. Not so much NASCAR but look what they did to the NBA, right? Like that's becoming bigger and bigger and bigger. Mm-hmm. So all the sports are changing.
I think that's the answer. Look, the NBA is a good example. You brought it up. The NBA has fake timeouts. So I tell you all the time, we're watching a game, when the ball, as soon as the clock goes under 6 minutes of every quarter, the next dead ball, whenever it is, you hear the horn blow. The whistles don't even go anymore. The horn blows and the announcer says timeout, and it's a phantom timeout. So I'd rather you put logos. I know this is sacrilege, and I was against that also, but I'd rather than put logos all over and not have it be just so mundane and generic, instead of, having the coaches really call a timeout when you need to. Let the game develop itself. You watch it for that, not to watch, the other fake part of it, which is what it is. So,
agreed. Can you imagine if NFL really gets into it? First quarter presented by Geico, second quarter presented by McDonald's. Who knows? It's all about the dollar. Like I said, I work in fundraising development, and I literally create sponsorships for anything and everything, because that's how everything works with marketing and sponsorships. But leave baseball alone. NASCAR should have been let the integrity be what it is. So. On that note, we got to get packing. It's almost 9:30. We have a 6 a.m. flight. We're leaving out of Miami to DC tomorrow. So, guys, we will be on the road for the next few days. You ready for this trip?
Yeah. It's going to be highlighted, obviously, by Sunday. We're going to do some sightseeing and stuff like that. But, the biggest thing on the menu is that Dolphin game. And hopefully we can come back with a victory like we did this past Sunday.
So, you guys don't know, but I am like a super travel, you probably do know. Based on the site, you guys know my site, www.30, I think I said W 4 times, www.305sportsbabe.com. It's a full site dedicated to travel into South Florida with hotel recommendations, airfare, restaurants, things that we like to do as Floridians. So when I go to other cities, I'm tourist mode. So I plan this full itinerary for us. We don't really have 5 minutes you can go to the bathroom. But based on, take the sports aspect out, what are you most looking forward to this trip?
Dolphin game, I was going to say. I'm going to just stick to the Dolphin game. I also want to see a great friend of mine out there. So Captain Demps, looking forward to seeing him. Just taking in part of our nation's history, nation's capital, and seeing it all in person. I'd never really been. So I was there for a day and a half, and I really didn't go anywhere. So I'm excited to take it all in.
So we have a good buddy up in, who's from the Philadelphia, Jersey area, who now lives in Tampa, J9, reached out to me to kind of see what we had planned. And I showed her the itinerary, which is no surprise to you because you already saw it. She's like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. So I know that some things we're looking forward to doing is we have a tour of the U.S. Capitol. the Washington Monument. We're going to do the museums, archives of a tour of the stadium, Nationals Park. So just like really indulgent in DC like culture and the history. So we will be busy the next few days doing that, but do not be strangers. Obviously, reach out to me. I'll be tweeting. Keep me updated with any Dolphin news if anything happens. Like Teddy Bridgewater ends up going to the Cowboys, which might actually, they need a quarterback.
Yeah,
but anyways, just keep me updated. Thank you guys all for the safe travels wishes. It's easy flight, 2.5 hours. It's at 6 o'clock in the morning, so I will be sleeping on the plane because I have the window seat. You're in the middle. But no, it's going to be a great trip. And then again on Sunday, after the Dolphins versus Ravens game, myself and Dolph Freaky will be hosting a post-game party at Pickles Pub, which is just a 5-minute, 10-minute walk from the Ravens Stadium, M&D Bank Stadium. So please, if you are going to the game, or if you know anybody else going to the game, everyone's invited. Just a nice meet and greet, just to hopefully, number one, celebrate, right? Okay, don't steal my thunder. Hopefully celebrate a week 2 victory on the road. You guys may not know this. I shared this earlier. We have never, when I talk about the Dolphins, because I say we like I'm part of the team. The Dolphins have never won a game at M&T Bank Stadium. So the new stadium that the Ravens play in, that they've played in since 1997, the Dolphins have never won there. We are 0-4 at that stadium. Did you know that? Again, 0-4 at that new stadium. Doesn't mean we're 0-4 against the Ravens, because put that memory cap on. Last year, Thursday Night Football, we took care of them against Lamar Jackson here. But facts be told, we have never won a game in that stadium until this week.
It actually feels like, at first I was like, oh, that's a daunting stat you just threw out there. But you know what?
Yeah.
It's hard to go 0-5. So I'm looking at, we're going to get our first victory in that stadium. I think we're going to go up there and get a win. And I predicted earlier, and I'm going to stick by it, 23-21, Dolphins win, Jason Sanders field goal to put us over the top.
First time coming Sunday. I saw the Dolphins-Ravens in 2018. Fun trip. Game was not so fun. It wasn't that game where Kiko flattened out.
Yeah, I think that's the one where
that
he took
was.
out,
and then we lost like 40-0 that game.
It was 40-0 that game.
So let's not go back to 2018, right? It's usually we get beat. You're right. Usually it's Eric. You're right. Usually just for some reason we're up there. But again, this is a new era in Dolphins football. We're going to the game. We have Tyreek Hill. We have a lot of fans going up there.
Yeah.
Whatever.
We're going to come back and win.
I can't promise you we're going to come back with a Marlins, because again, we're going to the Marlins game on
enough of that. Yeah.
Friday. I can't promise you that one, but anyways, we sure hope to. They lead the series 8-7. We will be 8. Okay, so good. Okay, so that's the whole perfect. So we'll be 8 after that. So we'll see. All right, guys. Like I said, we need to get packing. Our flight leaves in like 8 hours. We're tired, but it's been a pleasure hanging out with you tonight. Thank you to everyone in the chat room. I love you guys. It's so great to interact with you. I love talking to you. I mean, like, I get bored talking to this guy. I live with this guy. I'm with him 24/7. So it's so good to be able to catch up with you guys. For those coming down to the Dolphins games in the next few weeks, reach out to me, whatever you need. Hotel recommendations, restaurant recommendations. We're going to be doing different get-togethers. So please, whatever you need, you guys know my phone number, my DM, whatever you need, I am here. So anything else?
No, just to piggyback off what you just said. So many guys came down, so many girls came down for the Patriots game, and first-timers, coming down and wanting to meet the crew and wanting to meet everybody where everybody was tailgating, and you pretty much introduced everybody, got everybody together. And so, if you're out there and it's your first game, or you'll be there for the Buffalo game or any other games, definitely get in touch. And everybody's welcome. We got a big support system out there, big group, and looking forward to seeing you down the road at one of the games.
Definitely, yeah. So our tailgate is your tailgate. We have some really cool things planned. October 16th is fan clubs weekend. So that's when all of our fan clubs, everyone from Germany, England, Mexico, Southern California, all of them come for that weekend. That's against the Vikings that week. The 23rd of October, we're going against the Steelers at home, Sunday Night Football, and it's my birthday eve. So definitely another great one to go to. So if you can come down here within the next few weeks, some really, really cool games coming up that we'd love to have you. So, my buddy Lewis. I don't know if you know my buddy Lewis. So I've known Lewis for
Go Bucks.
No,
Yeah.
he's innocent. I've known him for years now. He was an admissions counselor at something I used to do. Great guy, but sorry, buddy, your Bucks are kind of. But he was pre-Bucks before Brady, though. It's not like he just jumped on the bandwagon now. And he's from Virginia. He's a good guy. We're friends. We've hung out many times before. But no, unfortunately, it's not unfortunately. It's just facts be told. The Bucks era is pretty done. Who knows? They might.
What?
The Bucks era of like.
What do you mean? They're still.
I know, but it's the Brady Bucks era. Like, hopefully, it's kind of like.
I think they're still a factor. So.
I'm trying to push him down a little bit. Anyways, guys, all right, we got to get packing. Have a good night. Go Fins. Catch you hopefully this weekend. If not, we'll see you soon. Good night.
Sure.
Bye.